Really, by way of my story and how it is that we came to be involved in this work together and what it is that Roy and I do. I came from a household where both my mom and dad only had a standard 8 for the new ones, grade 10 education. They never finished their high school. Mom and dad were unemployed since I was around 6 years old, and therefore grew up within a household where financially there was never uncertainty. Even something as one meal a day was not something that I could take for granted. I grew up within a township which was an incredible space to be alive in and be born into. So it's called Wattville, it's in the East Rand. So Wattville, when Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo came through to Gauteng, that's where they settled in Wattville and that's where they organized. Less than 10 kilometers from Wattville, you had a head office of Aviabeer, all within the same vicinity. And therefore was really born within a context that as soon as I became aware of myself, I then became instantly aware of the surroundings and the world in which I was born into. I often say that this work of equality, diversity, and inclusion, I can't say I started it 2.5 years ago because I was born black in South Africa. I started this work as soon as I became aware of myself, literally. I'm not joking, I'm being serious. Going into the former Model C schools and trying to fit into those spaces and what's now required of you. Getting to the space where you need to question your own identity, although you are a majority in the country, but somehow within the spaces you need to behave in a particular way in order to make it in life. It was quite fascinating to be within that. And I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship that enabled me to then go to Rhodes University, and there are a few things that I learned along that path and along that journey. So the students back in high school that were considered, is it valedictorians, ne? Those ducks who cream 6, 7, 8, 9 distinctions, and you're like, how? I thought those people were smarter than me, inherently. I really thought they were smarter than me. All right. And something happened for me when I moved from high school to university where I began to realize that there's a lot that's at play rather than just how hard you work and how smart you are. And this is what happened for me. So with the scholarship that I received, I was fortunate enough to go to Rhodes University, studied a Bachelor of Economics degree that I graduated with. Let me take a step back. Back in high school, all right, I dropped from, so there were 2 things. Number 1, accounting. When I got to accounting, grade 9, balance sheet, I didn't balance. I was like, this accounting thing is not for me, I'm moving on. All right? When I got to grade 11, moving to grade 12, I dropped from higher grade mathematics to standard grade mathematics because I figured, let me rather do well in standard grade and have higher credits to go to university than sickle through the higher grade mathematics program. And I honestly thought that the students that were in the higher grade mathematics were smarter than me. All right? Fatima Valoria, DAX, 9 distinctions, killing it all the time, every time, that she was smarter than me. So went to Rhodes University, and for the first time in my life, I had a room to myself. For the first time in my life, I could actually wake up at 7:30 in the morning and still have a meal and make it to a lecture on time. This was wild, guys. It was exciting. Compared to the 4 o'clock and 4:30 a.m. wake-up calls, it was fascinating. For the first time in my life, I had access to people where I could actually ask them whenever I'm not understanding certain things. So now, with the background of mathematics and accounting, and I'm now doing a Bachelor of Economics degree, I discover in my second year that I need to do a credit in financial mathematics. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Financial mathematics, university, second year level. Guys, I couldn't even do this high grade thing. But this was the thing, I needed this credit in order to get my degree. What was amazing through that process is in doing this financial mathematics that I thought was insurmountable for me and could only be done by people that were smarter than me. I was part of the top 5 students at Rhodes University in financial mathematics university level. Right? Now just imagine how many children we squander and write off, thinking that they're not smart enough just because they come from environments that are not actually enabling for them to perform at their best and be present and do the things that are required to do. And so really through that lesson, that's a part of the lesson for myself that I said, how can I take my life's lessons and really be able to craft them into concepts, into insights, into skills that we can impart within organizations. But over and above the organizations, because let me say this, guys, we actually don't care about your organizations. We don't, to be honest. When we come into the bank, we don't care about that bank. We get into the mine, we don't care about that mine, but what we do care about are the people that work within it. Because we understand intimately that when you get the people right and the people are able to perform to their best, your company benefits anyway. And so we take an approach that says our first, primary, and most important responsibility is to you. By virtue of us serving you, your organizations benefit by default. By virtue of us serving you, our country is able to benefit by default.